one unsubscribe per email. This could be a huge amount if your email list only has, say, 100 people on it. Or on the other hand, it could be a really good number of people because it's pretty standard to have people unsubscribing from our emails. So we need a little bit more context around how big the email list is. To give you an idea, every time that we send out one of our Monday, Wednesday, Friday emails, we get about 20 to 30 people unsubscribing. And then the Daily Biz Boosters list gets about 1 to 2 people unsubscribing every day. Hey, welcome back to Imperfect Action. This is episode 742. Today is an episode of Ask Steph, which we haven't had in a while because you guys just haven't been submitting that many questions. So if you want to submit a question for me to answer on an episode of Ask Steph in the future, head on over to stephtaylor.co/asksteph. There's a form there. You can pop in your question. You can leave it anonymous if you want, and I will answer it on a future episode if it fits in with our content plan, which I try to go for ones where I know it's going to help as many people as possible. Like today's question, which I think is quite a relevant one for anyone who's trying to build their email list and who is worried about, people unsubscribing from the emails that they are sending along the way. So, all right, today's question is from Joe. Hi, Steph. Inspired by your Daily Biz Boosters, I have a freebie where I send daily free tips via email. Unfortunately, a lot of people unsubscribe from there, about 1 unsubscribe per email. There is an unsubscribe from all of my emails and a choose which emails you want to receive from me button. Why do you think people choose to unsubscribe from all of my emails and not just from my daily tips? Do you think I should stop sending the daily tips or perhaps change the name of the button in order for them to understand that they can unsubscribe only from my daily tips and I don't lose them completely? On the one hand, this situation is seriously hurting my email list. On the other hand, I have received great reviews, new leads, and a chance to warm up my audience leading to my launch. I don't know what I should do. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is you've said there's quite a lot of people unsubscribing, 1 unsubscribe per email. This could be a huge amount if your email list only has, say, 100 people on it. Or on the other hand, it could be a really good number of people because it's pretty standard to have people unsubscribing from our emails. So we need a little bit more context around how big the email list is. To give you an idea, every time that we send out one of our Monday, Wednesday, Friday emails, we get about 20 to 30 people unsubscribing. And then the Daily Biz Boosters list gets about 1 to 2 people unsubscribing every day, right? That's a significant number compared to 1 per day for your tipped email, 20 to 30 per email that we send every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But it all depends on the size of the list. But it is so completely normal to have people unsubscribing. I understand, though, that we want to keep the unsubscribes to a minimum. So what we want to look at is why are they unsubscribing? Now, some email marketing platforms will allow you to do a little unsubscribe survey where you can find out why. You can collect that reason why they unsubscribed. And sometimes it's just that people want to declutter their inboxes. They just don't want to be receiving any kind of emails that are not actionable emails, right? They're knowledge-based, or they are sales emails, or they are something that they signed up for a while ago and are no longer interested in, and then they want to declutter their inbox, which is why they're choosing to remove all of their emails. I know that when I'm unsubscribing from something, this is usually the reason why I'm unsubscribing, but it could be really useful to find out from the people who are unsubscribing, why are you unsubscribing? Now, the other thing I want to notice here is with the 2 options, it's unsubscribe from the daily tips or choose which emails you want to receive. And when I see the button that says choose which emails you want to receive, that to me sounds like a lot of work, and it doesn't sound like I'm going to be unsubscribing. So I would be potentially changing the text on that so that the 2 options are unsubscribe from the daily tips, but continue to get other emails. And the other option is unsubscribe from all emails. So it's not sounding like, oh, I have to then go through and decide and make extra decisions and it's going to take me so much time. No, it's just option A, option B. Do I want to keep receiving the other emails or do I just want to lose all of the emails? Now, something else to be mindful of is what are they opting in for? And are the emails that they are receiving from you, those daily tips, do those match what they expected to receive when they opted in for them? So for example, do they know that they're getting daily tips? Like, did you explicitly say on the opt-in page, get a daily tip from me? What do they expect those daily tips to be about is the other thing. So it could be that they signed up for daily tips expecting it to be about one thing, and then the daily tips that you send them are slightly different to what they expected. So they're thinking this is no longer relevant for me and they are unsubscribing. Something you could potentially add to your sequence when they subscribe is maybe an automated email that asks them to hit reply and let you know what kind of tips they would like to receive from you. Really simple email. And then that way you can find out what they expect and what you can send to them that's going to be the most value for them. Another thing you could do is maybe 14 days after they sign up, you could set up an automated email asking them for their feedback, and maybe you could incentivize them to fill out a survey. So, hey, I'll give you a $5 coffee voucher, $5 Starbucks gift card. There's Starbucks in most countries, right? I'll give you a $5 voucher for Starbucks or Amazon or something if you fill out this survey giving feedback on the emails that you have received so far. And then that way you can start to gauge how your tips are meeting them where they're at and understand, why they signed up for them and what kind of emails you can keep sending to them to keep them on that list. Another thing I want to point out is sometimes we can give our audience tips that don't quite meet them where they're at. So are the tips that you are sending to your subscribers meeting them where they're at? What do I mean by that? I often use the example of dog training. So let's say that I am a dog trainer and I'm teaching you how to get your dog to stop barking. You have a dog that is old and you believe that it's too late to teach your dog to stop barking. If I'm sending you tips saying, here are 5 ways to get your dog to stop barking, that tip's not meeting this person where they're at because they believe that their dog is too old to stop barking. So they're not paying attention, they're not finding them useful. If your tips are not meeting your subscribers where they are at, you could be overwhelming them because suddenly they're like, oh, there's all this extra stuff I need to do because you're adding more to their to-do list. And then it makes it feel less achievable for them rather than more achievable. And I know it can feel like you are giving them loads of value when you're giving these kinds of tips, but it might not be that valuable to them because they still are not quite at the point where they are ready for those tips. One other thing I want to say, or actually 2 other things I have left to say on this topic. Firstly, the people who unsubscribe were probably never going to buy from you in the first place. They might not be your ideal client, or they might not be that eager to solve the problem that your offer solves or that your tips are helping them to solve. And then the last point I want to make is you mentioned that this is a good opportunity to nurture them for a launch. Rather than giving daily tips to nurture them, could you create a launch-specific lead magnet? So I teach this concept in depth a bit more inside Launch Magic, this concept of a lead magnet that is very specific just to one offer, just to a launch for that offer, rather than to generally grow your email list. And essentially, it's not about giving them tips. Rather, it is about meeting them where they are at and bridging the gap between where they are right now and where they need to be ready to buy that particular offer. It's not about getting lots of subscribers onto your email list. It's not going to be the shiny, amazing lead magnet that gets you thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers most of the time. But it's about getting you those right subscribers and nurturing them to buy from you when you open doors on the launch. So there you have it. A couple of thoughts about the unsubscribes. It's a very common challenge. And I wouldn't be too concerned about it because it is normal to have a number of unsubscribes, but there are a couple of those little tweaks that you can implement to see if that makes any kind of change. And always keep an eye on it, look at it over time, test different things and see if you can notice any trends from the different things that you have tested. All right, that is it for today's episode. If you're not already subscribed to this show, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss every new episode released every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you next time.